Welcome to another Ulster Orchestra conversation. Today we meet two of my colleagues whom I call the marketing wizards. So that tells you what their day job is and how good they are at it. Very varied portfolio careers for both of you. Do you think this has armed you for working in the unique world that is a professional symphony orchestra and all the various talented but crazy people who work in it?
Yes and no, I have to say. Marketing is fundamentally about selling and promoting that product. So all the principles and all of that learning that I had and doing that across many other products just had to be applied a little bit differently. So that side of things was fine. It was more the internal workings and the understanding of schedules and the protocols and the processes and all of that you had to go through to make those things happen. And at the start, it did take me a good 6 months to get my head around that, I have to admit.
Yeah, and Miriam, what about the artistic personalities? How was that when you first came in?
And I remember the first person I met was Michael Alexander amongst the players. And I met him because I sing in Belfast Philharmonic Choir and I started in Messiah Week. So I was sprinting to a rehearsal for the Messiah, the orchestral rehearsal from the Messiah from the office, and sort of hurtled in practically sort of up the back of Michael Alexander to get to my seat on stage in time and not get into trouble. And he said, "Oh, you're running late from work." And I said, "Yes, yeah, I am." And he said, "Oh, right, where do you work?" And I said, "Well, actually, I started working for you." And he went, "Okay, welcome." I was joining in December 2014. Anyone who knows the history of the orchestra will know that was a very difficult time for us financially.
Yeah.
And I think I probably joined at a point when the whole emphasis was just on keeping everything together. And so I don't think I really encountered much of the artistic temperament at all. When I first started, I just kind of came in and what can I do to try and make the best of the situation?
Yeah. So it's kind of baptism of fire. So if you survived that, you would survive anything subsequently. I think it's all. But it must be great for you both now to see the fruits of not least your labours, how the orchestra has grown and is evolving and developing and increasing our profile across everywhere, really,
Yeah, I mean, as I didn't know whether I was going to say or not, but I've said it at other presentations, but I nearly didn't come back after my first week.
That's a lot of us felt like that.
I remember just thinking, oh my goodness, this was my idea of a dream job, and my head's going to explode. And even though I hadn't worked in the arts outside of work, I mean, I've been involved in local amateur dramatics. I'm a singer. My husband's an actor, so I knew a lot about the theatre. I knew a lot about the art scene and the people in it. But also having come to see the orchestra on many an occasion just as an audience member and not as a member of staff, you can sort of just see what areas that could have been worked on and could have been improved. And then obviously change of personnel as well. I mean, the whole department now is pretty much a lot of new people, isn't it, Miriam? So all of those people are coming with new ideas and new visions. Everyone now has got to know each other really well. We've got to know the players really well. And it's just so lovely to see the love and support for the orchestra where it should be.
Yeah, I think the whole lockdown, lockdown has been horrible, but in a way it's also been good for us because all silos are down, all bets are off, and everyone's just had to turn their hand to whatever. And it's been especially interesting for me because it's a different dynamic now. I was a player, so occasionally I would just parachute into your office and either help you out or give you a hard time. And now you're daily essential colleagues, and it's really interesting to see it from a different side of the organization. But I think the whole producing content online and things has just thrust us into all of us learning new skills, and we're much better armed for the future now. Now, you both mentioned you sing. That kind of spoiled my next link a little bit. I was going to say, this being the Ulster Orchestra, these guys will undoubtedly have at least a second string to their bows and maybe even a third. So, Miriam, dish the dirt on what you do here, and not just the singing. Talk about the other thing as well.
Well, yes, I started. I've always sung in choirs ever since school, really. But it's never been kind of, voice was never my first instrument or anything. I never really had singing lessons as such. I actually learned clarinet. I've been playing clarinet since I was 7. But you know what it's like, if you're not, if you're not sort of playing music professionally and you come out of university into the real world, finding opportunities to play your clarinet is kind of difficult because lots of people learn the clarinet. So, there's always kind of, you can turn, I even remember turning up at the university wind band thinking as a music student, I'd be kind of playing first clarinet. I was sitting in third clarinet, sort of honking a low G, sort of once every 4 bars, and I thought, so yeah, clarinet has sort of sat in a cupboard for a while, but again, it's that sort of lockdown project. It's eased its way out. And I have done 1 or 2 of our common plays, which has been a challenge. And certainly I have discovered that I have no stamina for playing whatsoever anymore. So I'm trying to build that up. But I did have a go at BBC's Lockdown Orchestra. And I also, one of our playing colleagues, Anne Harper, who's actually one of the Crescendo Associates, has set up the Ulster Clarinet Choir. So about a week and a half ago, I sent off a video for her for something that she's working on for the Ulster Clarinet Choir. So I am kind of by degrees getting back into playing again. But mostly in terms of my sort of musical activity these days, it's singing in the Belfast Phil, which I joined in 2007 now, which seems like an awfully long time ago.
Time is relative. This must be really frustrating being a choral singer because of lockdown, and you can't all be together and sing.
It's very, very difficult. I mean, we did a few months ago try recording one of the movements of the Bach, and you had to record yourself singing with a Gail Evans, our accompanist, sort of a piano part in your ear. But
is this the B minor mass?
Yes, the last movement of the B minor mass. And it was nice to sing, but at the same time it's just so difficult to do, and it's very exposed and just doesn't feel the same. It's a really frustrating thing. And I think I'm on the Philharmonic's board at the minute. We had a meeting on Monday night with Stephen Dowdy, our chorus master, and Lindsay Callaghan, who is quite phenomenal young talent in terms of choral directing. She conducts the Philharmonic Youth and Chamber Choirs, and also has a youth choir in Dublin. And she's been working with the youth and chamber choirs, doing things like giving them lessons in how to read an orchestral score and to try and kind of develop their musicianship during lockdown without actually sort of having to try and negotiate singing on Zoom, which just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. Live collaboration does not work because of delay and things, and it's just immensely frustrating. But again, it has opened up other avenues, and we're all learning new things. Michelle, what about you? You're in a little ensemble, aren't you, as well as solo singing?
Yeah, I mean, I've been singing and dancing from the age of 5. A very long time. I was rubbish at sport, so I was pushed into the music side of things. Played the piano as well up to grade 6, and then I just didn't really have an interest in it. But it did teach me to read music, and I can still bash out notes, so it has been quite helpful. Yeah, I have performed in the Opera House and Buxton Opera House and all over with New Lyric Operatic Company, playing roles like Mabel and Parrots of Penzance and Anna and the Merry Widow, and having a wonderful time for many years. And I've been a soloist for a long time as well, singing with the RIR band, doing my own concerts at Missenden Temple, other various places, and I still sing as a soloist. But I've also been in a vocal harmony trio, the Leading Ladies, for 17 years now. And we actually met doing Peter Corey's One Enchanted Evening in the Odyssey way back in 2002. And there was no female groups in Northern Ireland at the time like that. So we just thought, well, sure, we'll give it a go. And here we are, 17 years
Good
later.
job. One up for the girls.
One for the girls. And then I also, more recently in the last couple of years, because I was raised on good old 50s rock and roll. So I started my own rock and roll band, 7-piece band called the Soda Pops. And my husband and I are the 2 vocalists. And we've been out doing some care home concerts as well the last few weeks.
Yeah, I think we've all discovered it. Yeah, in the profession, we've discovered that we can't do our normal thing, but we can do lots of small but really significant things out in the community.
We can, and the fact that Matt and I are married, we've been doing an hour of our rock and roll show from the living room on a Sunday night, and the neighbours have come out with their drinks and just live on our Facebook, and that's sort of kept our sanity as well. You know, at least we could still do what we love to do.
No, and the players have found this too. Players who play in the big sections in the orchestra have formed little groups, albeit remotely, or come together live, and we've started doing some courtyard concerts outside nursing homes, and they've been so well received, you know. And these little things really touch you, and they sort of remind you why you got into music. You know, it takes you away from all the normal stresses into something completely different. Well, tell me this. Here's a technical marketing question. If you're making a pitch to a big company to sponsor the orchestra, how do you convince them that it's not just a sort of a luxury upmarket cultural thing, but that it can be somebody for everybody, and that their company will benefit not just from the, you know, their corporate social responsibility budget, but just doing a bit of good? You know, do you find generally that the door may be open, but they may say, we'll call you, and then they don't? I mean, are corporates getting used to the fact that culture is essential rather than just an add-on for the educated people?
Some of them are. I think, you know yourself, the long-term perception of the orchestra audiences were that they were the older sort of upper class people. But that our audiences now are so diverse, and particularly all the brilliant work that our lovely colleague Lucy McCullough has done on the learning and community engagement side of things has really given us a lot more content and a lot bigger offering to give to corporates, because corporate social responsibility is a major box that they need to tick as well. So the fact that we're working with community groups and people of all ages and backgrounds is really wonderful and really helpful to us as well. So we're getting there with the corporate side of things, aren't we, Miriam? We had quite a lot of interest in people come on board in the last 2 years of our corporate membership scheme, and we've been working with the likes of 10 Square Hotel, who are a valuable supporter of our lunchtime concerts. So yes, we're getting there. We still have a long way to go.
Miriam, you've been my social media guru and helped me navigate this as an oboist, because we're very, very restricted in our skills. And you were saying you helped me with some figures to do a report, and our whole demographic is widening all the time, and all our online content during lockdown has been really good for us.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, I even, again, was surprised the other day when I was pulling some figures from Michelle for a report, and to discover that, you know, traditionally we're generally reaching our audience is mostly male, and we have definitely seen that shift. We're almost 50-50 in terms of our viewers on YouTube, for example, and it's swung completely the other way, and it's sort of 2/3 female is our audience on Instagram, for example. So that change is really interesting and sort of tells us a lot about the different ways that we can get people to engage with what we're doing. It's, you know, it sort of goes back to what I was saying about stories. It's about picking the right story to tell and telling it to the right people.
Yeah.
and or the right facet of the story to tell. And so, you know, it's all about kind of, you know, looking at what we're doing and saying, well, this is really working for, as I say, looking on it on YouTube, 50-50 split. I don't think we've ever had that on social media before.
No.
And it was a bit of a surprise for me to see it and go, oh, right, okay. And definitely to have it weighted towards women on Instagram is brilliant. So, you know, it obviously the way we're telling stories is definitely changing, and that just helps us broaden it all out as well, which is great.
Yeah, the challenge is now to keep them hooked, isn't it? And then
Absolutely.
when we're able to get back out there, entice them into an event.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and I'm sure you noticed yourself, Colin. I mean, this year was turning out to be one of our best seasons everywhere. Most of our concerts were sellouts. We'd really enhanced our profile with regards to advertising and promotion right across Northern Ireland. We were using radio a lot more. We were using very tailored social media campaigns around specific concerts to try to widen that audience base, and it was paying off for us. I mean, the last big concert that we did before lockdown was Mad About Musicals, and there was people just saying, well, can we get any tickets? It's sold out, but you know, can you let us know if somebody doesn't want their tickets? And that is manna from heaven. That's where we want to be with
yeah,
regards to every concert. So it's really, really encouraging to see the orchestra in that position now. And that was just one of the best concerts I've ever been to. And I know I'm biased, but it was just an amazing night. It really was.
we're winning.
We are.
We are.
So you guys have won some accolades from the industry, haven't you? Tell us about that.
We have, yeah, which is lovely. Miriam can talk to you about the Business Eye Awards, but 2 years ago, I think it was November 2018, we won the Creative Marketing Award at the Chartered Institute of Marketing events in Belfast, and that was a lovely night at Titanic Belfast, and we were really, really chuffed to have won it. So yeah, and Miriam, the Business Eye Awards as well, 2 years.
That was, so we've had two highly commendeds for the Business Eye Awards. The first was in 2017. We think that was the year before the Chartered Institute of Marketing Award, and that was for marketing. And then we were highly commended last year for most innovative business. So, you know, not only, I suppose, are we seeing our audience diversify, we're seeing sort of actually recognition for what we're doing from the business community as well. You know, we're sort of, that's a fantastic thing to kind of see that it's, you know, and have acknowledged that we kind of really are changing how the orchestra is perceived and how the orchestra is getting there. It's a wonderful thing.
Particularly last year at the Business Eye, Lucy and I were lucky enough to go, and you're talking about over 1,000 people here. And looking at the list of everyone there, we were the only charitable organisation, and apart from the Opera House, we were the only other arts organisation. So to see our name, the Ulster Orchestra, on the big screen was fantastic for our profile. And I, doing what I always do, and was networking round the tables. And a lot of people did say that I used to work with, you know, many years ago. Gosh, that's the first time, you know, we've ever seen the Ulster Orchestra involved in any of the business awards.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really encouraging for us.
Fantastic. Well, more power to your collective elbows and all that. Bravi tutti, as we say in the trade. That's a really good note, no pun intended, on which to end. Thank you both very much.